Hello everybody. So, I just had this thought that I need to put this out there on YouTube. I read it in Sylvia Browne's book, but she never had a severe mental illness, so a lot of people may not believe her when she predicts that there'll be a cure for all mental illness. So I've given you some videos where you have seen that it looks like it's some kind of seizure that goes on in the brain when I have bad PTSD episodes or when I'm not acting properly. So to me, I have severe PTSD, severe depression, severe borderline personality disorder, severe obsessive compulsive disorder, severe anxiety. The list goes on. I'm afraid of everybody. I'm afraid of everything. If you're not really old or really young, I'm afraid of you too. Because I feel like if you're really old, I could run away and you wouldn't be able to catch me, so that gives me the comfort to feel safe. And if you're really young, you can get away with whatever you want with me because of your innocence and because nobody has corrupted you yet in your life, for the most part. You're still very pure and new from coming from the other side. Anyway, I think that's what that is. That's just my safe places. Animals, I always feel safe around animals. And I know how to communicate with people that have like Alzheimer's. I can communicate with them, or people who can't speak at all. I seem to know how to communicate with people. Anyways, whatever. Call it a gift, call it whatever you want. It's just the way that I am. It's my God qualities. I believe everybody has at least one God quality within them. I believe that a lot of people have many. They just don't think of it that way, but it's another word for gifts. When it's pure and it comes from the heart, then it's a God quality to me. Anyways, getting back to the subject that I want to talk to you about, which is very important. So what happens to me whenever I'm not feeling well, my brain isn't functioning properly. And when Sylvia had mentioned this, it really made a lot of sense to me. And they said that it's going to cure even people with schizophrenia, which is, in her eyes and in mine, the worst kind of mental illness that you can have. Yeah. They're dangerous to themselves and others and don't even know what it is that they're doing. Anyway, and they see and hear things that may or may not be real. I believe that they hear and see things that doesn't seem like reality to us, but that the way that their brain is malfunctioning, they can see things like animals can see, which is probably pieces of the other side, whether it's good parts of the other side or bad parts of the other side in other dimensions. That's what I think it is. Because when the brain isn't working properly, it does supernatural things, supernova things, weird things, and also really bad things, things that we can't handle in this lifetime. So it's like a seizure activity. Anyway, she was saying, and I agree with this 100%, so I'm going to put it on video, because I would put my hand on the Bible for this one, and I do know that it's going to happen, but I hope it happens sooner than later. So you know the little defibrillators they put in the heart when the heart isn't beating properly anymore, and what it does is it bounces it back. It gives a little, I don't want to say a shock, but it helps keep whatever it does, the zapping or whatever this thing does, actually keeps the heart, bounces it back into normal rhythm again. Well, our brains, when we have this mental illness, so because of a trauma, or it can happen any time in your lives. Sometimes it happens as a child. Sometimes I think you could be born that way with a malfunction in your brain, depending on whatever the reasons are. In my case, something really bad scared the shit out of me, and I in turn got severe PTSD, and it is a nightmare to me. Anyways, this defibrillator that they put in the heart, apparently they're going to have one, probably in a smaller size, that they're going to place into the brain. There's a certain part in the brain that they're going to put this into the brain. I guess it will depend on what mental illness you have, depending on whether it's the front of your brain that you're being affected by, or the back, or depending what area, because I know that I believe there's 4 areas of the brain. The amygdala is the anxiety one, I think, and the one with trauma and all of that stuff. So that's where they would put the defibrillator, probably in my brain. And they put this little chip. They're going to put this little chip. It's going to be a very non-invasive surgical procedure where they put it inside. Probably, I don't know if it even is just going to go under the skin. Probably, I don't think they're going to have to put it underneath the bone, because you have to worry about infection, because it's a piece of material that could cause infection. They might just put it underneath the skin. And anyways, what it does is whenever, like, I have these episodes, these seizure-like episodes that I call them, this defibrillator will go off, and it'll make my brain go back to normal again, and there won't be any need for medications. It'll all be fixed by this defibrillator that's going to be put into our heads, in a sense. So it will actually cure, by 2050, all mental illness. Every kind. All kinds. All of us are going to feel normal again. Yay! Anyways, I had to get that vid out there because it's really important. So it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen, and I can tell you it's going to happen, and it's going to work because I know what I feel, because I have a severe mental illness. The only difference between my mental illness and everybody else's is at a different degree, and probably maybe a different place in the brain, but it does cause difficulties in all areas of the mind and the body. Okay.